This is basically my process that I do when I'm trying to come up with a blend. What I want to try and blend matches this, the Blood Oath. This is pact number 9. This one, I got Blood Oath 9. This thing is 98.6 proof. I think their whole thing is like what the temperature of your body or blood or something. But this was a $130 bottle. Kyle gave us this. If I remember right, I believe it's a blend of 7, 12, and 16-year-old bourbons. One or more of those was finished in sherry cask. So I do like this bourbon. It's one that I really think you need to spend your time with, like a good Scotch, because of that age. So what I do is I start with, I've got my palate and finish. Nose I don't necessarily pay too much attention to, but I'm trying to pick up what notes do I get. And over here I've got my calculator, my blend calculator, where I can put in the proofs and the price and the percent that's in the blind. It kind of give me what my blend would cost, and what its proof is. Yeah, this is like, there's definitely like a funky oak on the nose, and you can smell that sherry influence, that fruity influence. Man, things that stand out to me is like ripe strawberry. Like I said, that musty oak. It's I'm getting dark chocolate on the finish now, or I said finish. I should say near the mid to the end of the palate. There is still on the dark chocolate there, so I'm not really trying to pay attention to the finish right now. I'm just trying to pay attention to what's happening on my tongue, right on the palate. I'll do one more sip. Still lots of ripe strawberry, musty oak, dark chocolate. A little bit of rubber. Doesn't surprise me. I do get rubber on a lot of sherry finished, like scotches, single malts. I'll get rubber. So, okay. So the finish, I'm going to pay attention to the finish now. I'm just going to say, for only 98.6 proof, this thing has a long finish. It's long, cinnamon, cardamom, and I get like that musty oak transfers to the finish, but it starts leaning into like a wet cardboard kind of a flavor, which is good. If you've spent any time on our channel, you know I love a whiskey that has a good long finish. This has an amazing finish. I wish they would bottle this at like 110 proof at least. It would be a remarkable whiskey. I mean, it is a very good whiskey. One more sip for the finish. Let's see. It is. Sometimes with like sherry finished single malts, I'll get that sulfur that you get from sherry, but this is leaning more towards, like, I'm going to call it a white pepper more so than the sulfur. Okay, so what I'm going to look for now, my main notes that I'm getting on this, on the palate: ripe strawberry, musty oak, dark chocolate, and there is some rubber. The finish, it needs to be long. It's got to have cinnamon. It's got to have some spice and some musty, wet, cardboardy oak, which is age. That's coming from age. So the first thing that hit me on this was the sherry. So I'm gonna, I've got one bourbon here that sherry finished, that Derringer, but I know it's not even close to this. It's super nutty. So what I'm going to do, I am going to try Speyburn. This is natural colored. You can tell it's heavily sherried, 15 year. I'm going to see if I can match that sherry flavor. Bunnahabhain 12 year. This isn't the cask strength, it's the regular one. One more over here. Stranahan's. This is a American single malt sherry cask finish. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to see which one of these gives me that sherry flavor that matches that. Just going to start with a little bit of Stranahan's. Sorry for the noise. Put that out of the way over here. You notice I got my, when I do my blends, I like to use this little 3/4 teaspoon measuring spoon. I have other ones too, like that are smaller if I want to cut the ratios. But for this blend, I don't think I'm going to have to do that. Okay, I'm going to go with a little bit of Bunnahabhain. See which one of these sherries gets me closest. So strawberries, right? Stranahan's. I know this is Stranahan's. Typically what I'll do when I don't have all this stuff in front, I'll just leave, I know this is Stranahan's, this glass is Bunnahabhain, so yeah. Yeah. That's some good ripe strawberry. It's got a little bit of that white pepper. Not necessarily on the like matchstick sulfuric yet, which is good. Okay, the Bunnahabhain. That's denser and richer. It doesn't match the sherry that I'm getting out of this, so this is closest so far. I'm going to put this back. Wash this out with a little water. Got my crackers back here. So, all right, Speyburn. This one's really close, though. I have a feeling that's going to be it, but I remember the Speyburn being kind of light and inexpensive. Let's see. Let's spit that. Yeah. This is really close to sherry on this. Okay. Let's see. Speyburn. I know, it's a little slow, but it's fun when you're doing it. If you have these, follow along, do this with me, you know, or if you got some other sherry single malts or bourbons that you think you could blend, like, break them out. Let's do this together, you know? That cardboard is there, but the sherry is too muted on this. I say too muted. That's a good single malt. I'm just saying for the flavor I'm trying to match right now, that just isn't it. This is the closest. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to now start measuring. I am going to do 3/4 teaspoon in the glass, 3/4 teaspoon in the glass. All right. So now what I do, put those there, I'm going to write down my Stranahans here and down here because I got it in 2 glasses. So I know that this thing is like 90 proof, so I need to get the proof back up. So first one I'm doing a blend, trying to match another whiskey. The flavor profile is the most important thing to me. Second is the proof. So I need some bourbon with age that's higher proof that's going to get me close to 98.6. So I'm just punch into my calculator here. 50% of this is Stranahans. It's 90 proof, and it is, I think, $70 is what Stranahans is. Yeah, I'm gonna do another one here. 50% of it, 90 proof, $70. All right. So I'm not going to go with. I'm going to go with something like 10 years old or older. I'm thinking, because you can taste this. This has aged whiskey in it. I'm going to go with Trail's End 10-year because it has a lot of depth because it's double oaked in Oregon oak barrels, but it's also 105 proof, which is going to help me out. That's going to bring me up to, let's see, 105 proof. This thing is, I paid $65. This is like, the price dropped in Oregon to $60, which is really cool, but I'm just going to punch 65 in because that's what I paid for it. Okay, so a 50-50 blend of this in the Stranahans is going to get me to 97.5 proof. $68, very close in proof and close to half the price. So I know this one, Trail's End 10-year. Right? Give that a little mixeroo. Dry the spoon off. I need to do something else. I'm going to do, now let's see, before I decide, let me just, I do mix these together. So I'm going to put Stranahans and Trail's End 10-year. So let's see. It's close. This is spicier. Okay, palate. Let's see, what do we got? 105 proof for that. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Man, that's good. Okay, so I'm getting that strawberry from this. Very similar to the Blood Oath, which is good. So I'm getting my ripe strawberry. I'm getting oak, but it's Not as musty. It's more like a honeyed oak. That's how I'm going to describe it. So there's oak, which is good. And the chocolate, though, it's more like a milk chocolate. It's like a brighter palate, if that makes sense. So when I say brighter, like you'll hear me sometimes say, this is a darker whiskey, this is a lighter whiskey, brighter. I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking of richness and almost, I notice when I say darker, I'm feeling like more syrupy, dark syrup. When I say brighter, I'm thinking more sweet sauce, if that makes sense. That's just like what's going through my mind. So this is darker flavors. This is those flavors in the Blood Oath, but just lightened. It's not as far as intensity, but just like, it's like a ripe strawberry versus a strawberry that's almost too ripe and it's starting to ferment. There's a difference in that darkness, or the difference between a dark chocolate and a milk chocolate, right? One is lighter, one is darker. Okay, so finish. That's it has cinnamon. The finish is not as long as that. The finish was more notable in that, and I am getting some kind of a musty oak. It's not leaning into that wet cardboard that this was, but I'm getting a lighter white pepper, like, you know those when you have your pepper grinder, like we have a pepper grinder and then we have pepper that's already ground. You grind your own pepper, like it's more intense, you know, than the one that's already ground and you sprinkle on your food. That's the difference between the peppers on these two. This is close. I'm going to say this is 90% of the way to what that tastes like. So I feel like this has maybe more fruity sweetness to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try actually. This was really close, so I'm going to put this aside for a minute. And I'm going to get a little water in here. I'll go back to my, there we go. Okay. I am going to go with another 10-year-old bourbon, but this isn't going to help me out with proof, but that's okay because I have an idea. But Eagle Rare is I get a lot of times cherry and vanilla on Eagle Rare and definite oak, which is what I'm wanting for this. Whoop. Okay, a little bit heavy on the Eagle Rare there, but okay. Okay, so these have Eagle Rare in them. I'm just gonna, super scientific, I put a little extra Eagle Rare in this one, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more strand hands. Close enough. Okay. I know some of you are probably like, no, it's gotta be perfect. It will be perfect. Trust me, this is gonna work good. Okay, so this blend right now, I got two 90 proofers, so obviously it's staying at 90 proof. But Eagle Rare, so this blend here would be $55 and 90 proof. The proof needs to come up. And we are going to address that. So I'm going to put in here I got a couple different calculators here depending on how many bourbons I'm blending. I'm going to blend 3 bourbons. Okay, so I've got put these in here. All right. So, okay, so I've got my Eagle Rare and my Stranahan's entered into here. What I'm going to do, I need to get the proof up, and I need to keep that aged. And I know Eagle Rare isn't going to have that musty kind of oak. So what I have, I'm thinking 2 bourbons actually that I know that I have currently that have that musty oak. This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's the A124, 119 proof. So I'm going to enter that here, 119 proof. I paid was it $70 or 75? Can't remember. I'm just going to put 75. I feel like it's 70 or 75. And okay, so one of these, this one. All right, so this I know is going to add in, put these guys over here, that's going to bring the proof up to, oh right, yeah, 99.57, so a little bit better on the proof. And this blend cost me $61 if I was to blend a full bottle of it. Not bad. That's pretty much half the price of that Blood Oath. I'm curious how close that is. Another one I think that's going to be really good. Russell's Reserve Single Barrel also has like that Wild Turkey Funk. To me is like wet cardboard, musty oak, rotting tree kind of a flavor. So I know that's 110 proof. I'm gonna put that in here. 110, and I think $65 is what I paid. So this blend comes up to 96.6 proof and $58. So it's similar, you know, similar. So I'm gonna give them the old swirl. I'm gonna start with the lower proof one. I'm gonna start with this Wild Turkey. So I'm gonna have Stranahan's and Eagle Rare 10, and I've got Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. Down here, I'm going to have Stranahan's, Eagle Rare 10, and Elijah Craig. Okay, so let's see. Starting with this Russell's Reserve, since it's a little lower proof. So this thing is, make sure I entered this right, 90, 110. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Ooh, that's really good. Oh man. It's kind of hard to tell them apart on the nose, actually. All right, I just want to make sure my palate's. Yeah. Okay. Gosh, that's so close. I'm going to say that's like 95% of the way to their, like, I'm trying to think how to describe the difference. The difference is maybe more cinnamon on the palate and a lighter musty oak. Other than that, it's very similar. And the finish is like, it's the same with just like less musty oak. That is really close. All right, let's see. Elijah Craig blend. Oh, man, that smells so good. This smells richer. It smells like that, but richer. All right, let's see. Wow. Gosh. This is like 98% of what that is. I mean, that's crazy. This is just like slightly, I'm just going to say slightly richer on the palate. Like it has a more of a depth and a better mouth feel than this has. That's what I mean when I'm saying richer. And the finish, it might as well just be the same, honestly. Like, that's... Wow. This is so close to that. I mean, it's... I don't know, you'd have a really hard time telling the difference, honestly. That's incredible, because that's $61, 99.57 proof. I'm going to... You know what? I'm going to blend these. Together. What would this be? Curiosity. So I'm going to say 50% of my blend is 99.57 proof, and it cost $61. The other 50%, which is the Russell's Reserve blend, is 96.6 proof, and it cost $58. What does that give us? Okay, gives us $60, so half the price of this, and it's 98.09. This is what, 98.6. So it's, I'm just going to say it's that, but at half price. So let's see how close it is. This is the blend of these two. I'm just going to put a little thing here. I got to get ready for this because I have a feeling this is going to be almost the same. Okay. This is so much fun. Like, I love geeking out with this kind of stuff. Like, let me know. Like, would you be interested in doing like a live? We kind of like blend together, like live or something. And I do blends not just to match. I'll do my process and some blends I've come up with, not just to match like an expensive or hard to get bottle, but just when I get bourbons that I'm maybe not super happy with the flavor, like how do I amp them up to where I'm like really stoked to drink them? And that's where most of my blending happens, is with that. So, okay. Here we go. Let's see what we got. So this is the one part, you know what, I'm just going to enter this in here. So it's basically one part of this blend and this blend. So if you had 1 part Russell's Reserve, 1 part Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, 2 parts of Eagle Rare 10-year, and 2 parts of Stranahan's Sherry Finish, that's basically what this blend is. Okay, 98.09 proof, $60. 98.6 proof, $130. less than half price. Let's see. Okay, nose. This, I'm going to be a little more strict in what I'm doing here. Gosh, that smells so good. They're really close on the nose. I've broken my nose a few times, so it's not the best. One of my nostrils I can smell pretty good out of, but let's see. It's strawberry. That's the oak. Cinnamon. Nice finish, man. Yeah. Same. Wow. Man, that's... I'm just going to say it's 99% of the way to that. Like, you could do that blend. 1 part Russell's Reserve single barrel, 1 part Elijah Craig A124 barrel proof, 2 parts Eagle Rare 10-year, 2 parts Stranahan's sherry finish, and you have got a less than half price Blood Oath Pact 9. You could I don't know, try and like blend it a little bit. Like you could try and fine tune it with your ratios, but I'm happy with that ratio, those blends. Like it's, gosh, it's so stinking close. Okay. Thank you for really thank you for your support. I mean, Chanel and I cannot believe that we have people that support us like this so they can see, you know, what we do. We appreciate it so much. So let us know what you thought of this, and did you do it along with us, or did you try blending something that was a little different that you had and how it turned out? Let us know, because I'd like to try it. Honestly, I love geeking out on this kind of stuff because you can blend. Blending is so fun because you can just blend incredible whiskeys. So anyways, thank you again so much. All right.